calls us and says, hey, I have this unique car. It's called a Birkin S3. Will you work on it? The Birkin S3 is a kit car of a Lotus Super 7, which is a kit car in itself. So it's a kit car of a kit car that was made a long time ago. There's a company out west that will sell you a Birkin chassis, and then it's up to you what drivetrain you put into it. Most people put in like a Ford Ecotec or a version of the Ecotec 4-banger in that car. And for the internet trolls, there could be multiple different engines put in that car. I don't know the specifics. It doesn't matter for this conversation. This fellow happened to have the Ford motor in there. And he said, look, I've got a bunch of issues. I bought the car recently. There's some stuff wrong with it. One of the things he said is the brakes don't work too well. That's a problem. The other thing he said is that the clutch was slipping, so the car needed a clutch replacement. So we got the car in the shop.
Oh yeah, this foot box is really cool. This is so cool!
You know, looked it over, super cool car. I mean, really cool car. But it needed a lot of love.
Birkin first test drive. Nervous, excited. We'll see what happens. All right, Tony, strap in. The seatbelt. I'll be back.
Story short, because it's a kit car with a conglomeration of parts, it's not like we can look up, okay, you know, Birkin S3, this date, what's the clutch kit? Don't know. So we did a bunch of research and we figured out what clutch kit the car needed. So after a bunch of research, we found what we thought was going to be the appropriate clutch kit for this car and sourced it. Clutch kit came in. Then we kind of scratched our heads because there's no manual for this car. How to get the trans down, because it's a tube frame chassis and it's got a flat bottom, so everything's covered. So it was a bit of a challenge to do that. So Birkin update. Got the clutch in. That was kind of a challenging situation because Birkin USA told us, oh, get this clutch kit from this car, it'll work great. We sourced a performance clutch kit. It was super close to the original that came out of the car. A little bit different. Figured it was close enough because the Birkin guy told us. Put it up and guess what? The trans don't fit over that clutch. Take the trans back down. Do some more detailed measurements, and sure enough, it was off just enough where the trans bell housing wouldn't fit over the clutch kit. I did a bunch of research. Found the appropriate clutch, we put it in, trans went up, things are great. I brought my race shoes in to go test drive the Birkin, and she's not starting. Once I drive to the parking lot, then we'll see. Cars. When we got trans down, I should say, we noticed that there was issues with the shifter and the trans and a bunch of other stuff. I mean, this car was really hacked by the previous owner, sadly. So after a challenging bit of effort, we got the clutch in, got it lined up, got the trans back up. I think the back half of the trans we replaced, from what I remember. The rear of the case was broken, so replaced that, put a new shifter in the car, got the trans back up. So the trans is good now. And then the next thing we had a problem with were the brakes. I think the front brakes weren't engaging at all. And you know, it's got external master cylinders, and we looked at them, and basically the problem was that when you articulated the pedal, it was only articulating the one master for the rear and not the front enough. So we got a pin kit from Willwood to redo the master cylinder arm so it articulates properly. The other thing was the engine. The entire wiring harness, from being several years old, like literally the sheathing and all the wires was coming apart. The one that made me the most nervous were the ignition coil wires. Like literally, there's the plug, there's naked copper, and then there's the wire. So we cut those, spliced new ones, and got it back. She still wasn't running just right. So I reached out to the company in Europe that made the standalone ECU for this car. And of course, there's no documentation. There's no OBD part for the car. What the hell do you do? There is a 9-pin serial plug, which I knew was for a laptop for some software, but whose software? Did a bunch of research yesterday, and I found the company in England that made that DME back in 2001 for a company, and emailed them, and they were nice enough to respond and said, yep, we remember the DME. In fact, they said that the DME was sent back to them in 2007 because of a possible electronics issue that turned out not to be the ECU or the DME. Good question. ECU, DME, PCM. The same? Different? The answer is they're the same thing. DME is German for Digital Motor Electronics, their version. ECU, Engine Control Unit or Electronic Control Unit, what some manufacturers call it. And PCM is what companies like Dodge calls it, Powertrain Control Module. I think Ford may call it the same thing, not sure. Anyway, 3 different words, same thing. So I'm waiting now for the guy from England to scan the manual for the ECU so we can debug why she's not starting all of a sudden. Now, did you catch that? I said scanned, which means he has paper copies of the manual for this computer, and he's going to scan them for us and then email it. Isn't that comical? They said, oh yeah, you need our software, whatever. But the funny part is, I needed to buy a Windows, was it ME or Windows? I don't remember. It was either ME or a previous version of Windows. Would be the only OS that the software would run on. So then I looked and I found someone selling a used Dell laptop with that version of Windows. Picked it up, installed the software. Lo and behold, it connected. Now, talk about user unfriendly. This software was basically DOS based and wasn't very self-explanatory. So using the software, we figured out that the ignition wires were actually incorrect. They were actually wired incorrect. So the engine was firing in the wrong order, which is why the car would take a couple of tries before it would fire up. Once we fixed that, she fired right up. The Birkin's finally running. This has been quite a challenge. So I'm going to drive around the parking lot to make sure I don't get stuck, and then I'll come back, we'll check, make sure it's good, and then I'm going to go on the road for a road test. All right. Good? Yep. Get a nice alignment. Oh, and tires. He had these ancient tires that were at least 10 years old on the car. So we replaced them with a fresh set of Bridgestone RE71 RSs, my personal favorite street tire today. And the car was great. In fact, I took Miss Maya on a little bit of a test ride, and it was probably the most fun we've ever had, right, Maya?
That was a lot of fun.
Here we go on the Birkin. Woohoo! This is like being a motorcycle. You gotta finish this, Shaggy. Come on, you diva.
Wait, that's so fun!
In the Birkin. Come on, this is not cool.
Yeah.
This is so awesome. I want one.
That is weird. Oh my god.
need a helmet and like goggles. Eyes are like getting watery, man.
I mean, like, I am just touching the ground right now. That is crazy. It's so close. That is quite crazy.
That's the indicator light. See that? Making a left?
Yeah.
That's the indicator light. And then you gotta put it back to neutral. The race car.
I mean, because you're exposed, right? I mean, you're sitting like 3 inches off the ground. The wind's in your hair. It's really a wonderful experience. So, super cool car, challenging project because again, no information, no easy way to source parts for it. It was a challenge, but in the end, we got it done. And I believe the client was pretty happy. It did take some time because parts were a challenge and the rest of it, but as they say, it ended well. Like, comment, subscribe, and my favorite line, enjoy the drive.